For many years, owning a car has quietly turned into one of the most expensive ongoing commitments in American life. This burden falls especially hard on seniors living on fixed or semi-fixed incomes. Monthly payments, rising insurance premiums, unexpected repair bills, and fuel costs rarely arrive all at once, but over time they steadily drain financial stability. What often begins as a manageable expense slowly becomes a source of stress. Now Tesla is signaling that the upcoming Model Y Juniper refresh may not simply be about updated styling or improved performance. Instead, it appears aimed at fundamentally reshaping how much a vehicle costs to own year after year, particularly for people who value predictability over novelty. The question is not whether the Model Y Juniper looks different or drives faster, but whether it can realistically reduce real-world monthly expenses for seniors. Not in abstract comparisons, but in daily use over many years. That means examining how it compares to gasoline SUVs and even other electric vehicles currently on the road, focusing on ownership costs rather than marketing claims. When viewed through that lens, the changes Tesla is making begin to look less cosmetic and more strategic. The current Model Y already ranks among the lowest total cost of ownership vehicles in the mid-size SUV category. In the United States market, a gasoline-powered SUV of similar size typically consumes between 600 and 700 gallons of fuel each year. At an average fuel price of roughly $3.60 per gallon, that translates to about $2,200 to $2,500 annually. That figure does not include oil changes, transmission servicing, exhaust repairs, or emissions-related failures, all of which tend to increase as a vehicle ages. By contrast, a Model Y driven the same distance uses approximately 3,500 to 4,000 kilowatt-hours of electricity per year. At a residential electricity rate of around 15 cents per kilowatt-hour, the annual energy cost lands between $525 and $600. Even before considering maintenance savings, electrification alone removes a major recurring expense. What the Juniper refresh appears to focus on next is reducing costs that electric vehicles do not automatically eliminate, such as insurance volatility, maintenance unpredictability, and long-term depreciation risk. One of the quieter but most important shifts expected with the Model Y Juniper is deeper integration of Tesla's next-generation manufacturing processes. These include expanded use of large structural castings and simplified wiring architectures. While these changes sound like factory-level details, they directly affect owners over time. Fewer individual parts mean fewer potential failure points. A simplified wiring system reduces the likelihood of electrical issues that often drive up diagnostic costs in modern vehicles, particularly as they age beyond their warranty periods. For seniors, this matters far more than acceleration figures or screen size. Repair unpredictability is one of the biggest stressors in vehicle ownership after retirement. A surprise repair bill of $1,200 does not just strain finances, it disrupts planning and peace of mind. Tesla's direction with Juniper suggests an effort to make the Model Y feel more like an appliance than a complex machine. Fewer service visits, fewer unexplained problems, and longer stretches of trouble-free driving all contribute to a sense of control that many older drivers value deeply. Braking is another area where cost savings quietly accumulate. Regenerative braking already allows many Tesla owners to drive well over 100,000 miles on original brake pads. With Juniper expected to further refine software-controlled regenerative behavior, especially at low speeds, brake wear could be reduced even more. Traditional SUVs often require brake service every 30,000 to 40,000 miles, with costs ranging from $400 to $700 per axle. Over a decade of ownership, that expense alone can exceed $2,000. For someone on a fixed income, avoiding repeated brake service is more than a convenience, it is financial relief. Insurance is where many seniors currently feel the most hesitation about electric vehicles. Tesla Insurance in particular has developed a reputation for variability. However, the company is expected to continue refining its insurance model alongside Juniper, using vehicle telemetry in driving behavior rather than broad demographic assumptions.
Older drivers often exhibit calmer driving patterns, with fewer aggressive accelerations and less late-night driving. Over time, this data-driven approach could allow premiums to stabilize or even decline, rather than automatically rising with age. While results vary by state and regulation, the overall direction favors predictability rather than penalization. Depreciation is another often overlooked factor that quietly erodes car budgets. Gasoline SUVs face increasing uncertainty as emissions regulations tighten and consumer demand shifts. Tesla, by contrast, is building Juniper around software longevity. Over-the-air updates extend functionality without dealership visits, helping the vehicle feel current even as it ages. A car that continues to improve through software 5 or 7 years after purchase tends to hold value better than one locked into outdated systems. For seniors who may eventually need to sell a vehicle due to changing circumstances, retained value offers flexibility and security. When looking at the monthly cost picture for seniors driving a Model Y Juniper, the analysis becomes more concrete. Based on current pricing trends and Tesla's ongoing cost reductions, many analysts expect the Juniper to enter the market at a price between $44,000 and $47,000 before incentives. With federal electric vehicle credits still structured around domestic assembly and battery sourcing, many buyers could see an effective price closer to the mid to high $30,000 range. For seniors making a modest down payment and financing over 5 years at prevailing interest rates, monthly payments would likely fall between the mid $500 and low $600 range. At first glance, that may seem high compared to some gasoline SUVs. However, vehicles like the Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V often start in the low $30,000 range, but quickly rise once dealer markups, financing costs, and long-term fuel expenses are considered. Fuel alone typically adds close to $200 per month for the average driver, a cost that never builds equity and never disappears. With the Model Y Juniper, electricity replaces gasoline. For someone driving around 1,000 miles per month, a common figure for many retirees, electricity consumption would average roughly 300 to 330 kilowatt hours. At 15 cents per kilowatt hour, that results in a monthly energy cost of about $45 to $50. Even in higher cost regions, with electricity priced closer to 20 cents per kilowatt hour, monthly charging costs generally remain under $70. That difference alone frees up well over $100 each month compared to gasoline. Insurance remains a point of skepticism, but patterns suggest a more balanced picture over time. While a traditional SUV might cost between $140 and $180 per month to insure, a Model Y driven conservatively may see premiums settle closer to the $120 to $150 range, depending on location and driving behavior. For seniors who drive fewer miles and prioritize safety, this can narrow or even eliminate the insurance cost gap. Maintenance is where Juniper begins to feel fundamentally different from traditional vehicles. Gasoline SUVs require regular oil changes, transmission servicing, spark plug replacements, belts, and emission system maintenance. Even careful owners often spend $1,200 to $1,500 per year on routine maintenance once warranties expire. The Model Y removes most of these requirements entirely. There is no oil, no exhaust system, and far fewer components subject to wear. Tesla estimates annual maintenance costs in the range of a few $100s, largely limited to tire rotations, cabin filters, and occasional brake fluid checks. Over 10 years of ownership, this difference becomes substantial. A gasoline SUV can quietly consume $12,000 to $15,000 in maintenance. A Model Y Juniper is more likely to remain closer to $4,000 over the same period. For seniors planning to keep a vehicle long-term, this predictability can be as valuable as the savings themselves. There is also a cost that never appears on invoices, but matters deeply to older drivers: time. Fewer dealership visits mean fewer disruptions. Software updates occur automatically at home. Diagnostics are often handled remotely. For seniors, that convenience translates into reduced stress and greater independence, benefits that spreadsheets rarely capture, but daily life certainly does. Long-term risk is where the Model Y Juniper may offer its greatest advantage. Many seniors are less concerned with the first 3 years of ownership and more focused on what happens after year 6 or 10. Battery longevity is often the first concern, yet real-world data from high-mileage Tesla vehicles shows average capacity loss of roughly 10 to 12% after 200,000 miles. For someone driving fewer than 10,000 miles per year, reaching that threshold could take decades.
Juniper is expected to benefit from incremental improvements in battery chemistry and thermal management, even without a dramatic shift to new technologies. Better heat control and refined charging behavior reduce stress on battery cells, especially during daily home charging. For seniors who primarily charge overnight at moderate speeds, battery wear remains minimal. While battery replacement costs are often cited as a fear, most owners are unlikely to ever face that scenario, particularly within their ownership timeframe. Mechanical simplicity further reduces risk. Gasoline vehicles accumulate complexity as they age, with engines, transmissions, and emissions systems all subject to wear and failure. Electric vehicles, like the Model Y, have far fewer moving parts. Motors and drivetrains are sealed and designed for long service life. Data already shows many Tesla drive units surpassing 300,000 miles with minimal intervention. Structural casting improvements in Juniper further reduce fatigue points, enhancing durability over long ownership periods. Resale value also plays a quiet but important role. Even seniors who plan to keep a car indefinitely may need to sell due to health or lifestyle changes. Vehicles that retain value offer flexibility. Tesla's software-first approach helps keep older vehicles feeling modern, supporting demand in the used market. A Model Y purchased in the mid-2020s may still feel relevant well into the next decade. Finally, there is regulatory uncertainty. Gasoline vehicles face increasing pressure from emissions rules and potential restrictions. Electric vehicles avoid much of that risk by design. For seniors seeking stability and fewer unknowns, that matters. Ultimately, the choice comes down to whether one prefers ongoing, unpredictable costs or a vehicle where most expenses are known up front. The Model Y Juniper appears designed to tilt that balance toward predictability, efficiency, and peace of mind.